Now, joining me for more on this is the Commissioner for Information in Akwa Ibom State. He is Anieka Omana, and then we'll also be expecting to be joined by political analyst David Bole. When he joins, we'll bring him on. But let's begin with the Commissioner for Information in Akwa Ibom State. Good to have you join us.
Good afternoon. Thank you very much.
So I think that everyone saw that defection yesterday, and then for a lot of people it wasn't news because some of the stories had already filtered in about the particular meeting that the governor had. But for others it was quite shocking because they felt like, oh, I mean, that's been a PDP state for a really long time, and having to switch over to an APC state in the South was a bit shocking. The governor has given his reasons for defecting, but I also just want you to speak to what actually led to that that decision, because it's a very critical decision that the governor made.
Yeah, thank you very much once again. I'd like to say that the governor made this decision in line with his fundamental rights and the provisions of the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria 1999 as amended. Did he contravene any known laws or statutes of this nation? The answer is no. Section 40 of the Nigerian Constitution 1999 as amended guarantees the right of association, formation and movement or membership of a political parties. So from the standpoint of the law and the standpoint of the statutes, the governor committed no offense. He acted in accordance with his fundamental human rights and as enshrined in the Nigerian statute books. That is one. Secondly, what you call the defection, we'll describe it as a movement because it's a mass movement of the people of Akwa Ibom State, progressively too to the All Progressive Congress, like you heard in the governor's soundbite that you played not too long ago. Now, this did not just come as a fluke. His Excellency, the Governor of Akwa Ibom, said Pastor Umar Obaseno is a very humane personnel. He's someone who takes things into great details and then marshals out his points and his approaches to things. So Governor Omano sat back and consulted every strata of the Akwa Ibom political establishment, from the political parties to elders, to youths, to women, to different formations, different organizations. He's gone around speaking to people, letting them know his reasons and his intendment. And he made that clear yesterday. Yes, the vehicle that brought us to this point, yes, was the People's Democratic Party. Just like several other vehicles took people to different points, and the necessity made it that they had to also move from one point to the other. So that progressive movement took place because there are certain conditions and that are no more tenable and palatable, particularly even if you said he had made the constitutional part or whatever reason. There's also a crisis in that party at the federal national level. Everybody knows that. So His Excellency the Governor wants Akwa Ibom State to be connected to the larger Nigerian conversation. And he wants to see the benefit of this alignment for the people of Akwa Ibom State. And that is why we call it, and you heard him in his speech, it is for the enlightened state interest that he made that movement together with the people. And it was just about him. You saw it yesterday.
Honorable Commissioner, was there a sense that Akwa Ibom State was not connected to the larger national conversation? Because if there's anything most of the governors have said about the president, is that he really doesn't pay attention to party politics when dealing with the governors. That should already mean that to an extent, Akwa Ibom was already at the heart of the national conversation. So was there a reason for the governor to move to be at the heart of the national conversation?
No, it's part of the reason, because this will deepen it. Governor Omano never hid his support for President Tinubu. He made it very clear long ago that he's a man he respects, He's a president. He appreciates his leadership style, and that he will not be able to hide under any other political structure to be able to give his full support to Mr. President the way he would love to do it. And he advanced that reason yesterday, just like he was advancing to different groups that he had consulted. And then people, well, tried giving it interpretations that they do not understand. Like we said earlier, and he did say, it is an enlightened, the peace movement is for the enlightened interest of Akwa Ibom State. We called it enlightened state interest, and that is what it is.
You talked about the governor consulting, widely with the state's political establishment, but you didn't mention whether he consulted with the people, because a lot of people are talking about the transfer of mandate, that the people who gave him the vote and the mandate were not even consulted in the first place because they gave him that mandate on a different political platform.
No, that is, they do not know. That is not correct. His Excellency Governor Mono consulted widely, socio-political, socio-cultural organizations, youth groups, women groups, political associations, religious associations, including non-indigenous residents in Akwa Ibom State. He went on to, he consulted the leadership of the 31 local government areas, including all other political parties that exist in Akwa Ibom State. He took them into these discussions and guided them through the process that led to his final movement yesterday and led to the movement of Akwa Ibom yesterday into the All Progressive Congress. And as you saw, if he hadn't that level of consultation, the entirety of the National Assembly caucus came out and pledged their support and moved with him. The House of Assembly came out and moved with him. The local government chairman came out and moved with him. The members of the Executive Council, that are his first 11, came out and moved with him. All members of the Executive Council, yes, apart from one who decided for personal reasons not to be part of it, that's fine. So that's what happened.
In terms of being a mass movement, some people have said this is also coercion, because earlier there had been reports, was it earlier last month, that the governor had a meeting with members of his cabinet and said to them, it's either you go with me or you resign. And for a lot of people who want to keep their seats, it looks like some level of coercion to say, oh, well, I want to keep my seat, let me go with the governor, even if that is not their personal decision to go through the APC.
Yeah, it is his prerogative. I'm sorry, these are his staff and appointees. Just like I am, I'm his staff and appointee. So I have to choose to work the way he wants it. It's as simple as that. If he also wants to accommodate people from different political parties, yeah, it's still his choice. He doesn't need the permission of anybody to do that. So, but he has said how he wants his government to work, how he wants his cabinet to work. It is his own decision that will, of course, hold water in this instance. Anyone else who feels otherwise, of course, you can contest the election and decide to also choose how you operate. But as long as you are an appointee of a president or a governor or even a local government chairman, there are set rules and norms in followership. So you toe the line totally. If he also allows exceptions, that is purely his decision. He does not need to take permission from anybody to make that decision. So he decided how he wants. The people working under him and the kind of loyalty structure that he wants. And he set the groundwork earlier than now. So it's not a new thing.
All right, so let's look at one of the statements the governor also made, which you have also referred to in this conversation. The idea that he left the PDP to the APC to better support the president. Can he support the president from the PDP? We've seen governors, all around the country, and not just in this dispensation, even from 1999, who endorsed a presidential candidate that wasn't in the party. For example, it happened during the Obasanjo era, where some governors of the other party came out to say, look, we're endorsing the president as a candidate. I mean, he could have done that and then continue to be in the PDP.
No, frankly, there are people who are not given to double standards. And His Excellency Governor Mono is in this mold. He likes to shoot straight. If he's in a matter, you know he's in that matter 100%. Don't forget he is a pastor. And he doesn't want to be here in the night and there in the morning. He wants, if as he is supporting the president, he wants to support the president from his own party. That is the Mr. President's party. And he's never minced words in doing this. But coming back to the conversation, I said there are 4 points I needed to make. One, did he contravene any rules of this nation? The answer is no. It is within his fundamental rights. Yes. Is there any issue, assuming, without conceding, yes, the party that we are coming from, of course, you know the crisis that is there at the national level. There's a lot of confusion. So, has he performed as a governor? The answer is yes. He has spent the last 2 years acquitting himself, discharging himself, creditably as a governor who has performed to the gladness of the people of Akwa Ibom State. Did he carry the people along in this decision? The answer is yes. He has met all those 4 criteria that I set out. And again, the people of Akwa Ibom State are massively excited about the decision of the governor because they know that he's leading them truthfully, he's leading them aright, and he is not a governor that is given to taking people on a movement that is not straight. He has performed. He has been so connected to the people. He has unleashed the Arise agenda, if you know about it, which is an agricultural revolution that is changing the face of food security in that state. He has opened up the rural areas more than anyone can imagine. And of course, infrastructural development, he has taken over 710 kilometers of roads, including the ones he inherited from previous administrations in just 2 years. Under the Arise agenda, security is one of the matters that he takes so seriously that Akwa Ibom remains one of the safest states in this nation today. Educational advancement, you've seen the kind of school system, the model school system that is putting in every ward and every local government in the state, the health centers and all and what have you. There's just so much. Then human capacity development is one key area. Citizens empowerment is spending a lot of money developing people, building SMEs and small businesses and supporting farmers, agriculturalists and all of that. So he's doing all of this. The grants are going on for farmers, grants for traders. He's giving up to 5 million to local SMEs residing in different local government. This is a governor people are following. And as you follow, sometimes your television station comes to cover town square meetings live. Through the 10 federal constituencies, His Excellency is going around briefing the people on what he's done mid-term. And then empowering people with billions of naira to support their businesses in a scientific and digital manner. Again, so there's so much happening in Akwa Ibom that the people are happy. Tourism is one area that is receiving one of the greatest attention. Aviation development. If you come to the Rice Resort that is being built now, it's a one-stop destination for the Nigerian people and global citizens who want to come to Akwa Ibom, and we can go on and on and on.
So for a lot of people, they say that the governor he was more, in a place of strength, operating leverage. He was operating from a place of strength, just being in the PDP and and doing some of these things you have mentioned. But now that he has crossed over, that perhaps he's going to be surprised. His electability, winning that election is now at stake because now he's at loggerheads perhaps with the former governor.
No, he will continue to perform in the same manner and spirit and mold that he's currently performing. He is a no-holds-barred man because he's very detailed. We have a delivery system in place in Akwa Ibom State that ensures that every project is followed through from beginning to the end. We have a delivery system that puts in a 2-day delivery advisory and review meeting where the governor sits through for 2 complete days from 10 a.m. in the morning to sometime 10 p.m. in the night for 2 days. Every project is put out on the screen and we follow through them. We have delivery advisors who go through these processes, and these are people with institutional knowledge of each of these projects. And this is not the type of system that projects fail. So we have a system that will ensure that all the projects he's doing and the ones he has inherited from previous government and he's doing will all be completed. That is how the system is running. It's not a system that just gets up and does things by fly by night. No, it's a system that plans his things, targets his things. That is the background of the governor. He's coming from a business background and an oil industry operator, and you know how structured that industry is. He's brought that acumen into governance. And that is helping us see through anything he wants to do. He goes through his timeline and his completion time. Whatever gaps there are, you find them on time and close them to ensure that the development of the state continues at the expected speed. And that is what is happening. The people of the state are happy. They're happy with the governor. They're happy with all of what he's doing. They're happy with the projects. But he did say, Governor Moeno did say, that the people will be his greatest legacy in governance. And he is facing this more than ever before. He's connecting with the people, particularly in the rural areas. He's going back to the rural areas, developing education, developing a health system, like I mentioned earlier. And of course, without losing sight of the bigger picture. He's also now developing some of those bigger tourism elements. Like I told you, there's a 5,000 capacity convention center that was inherited from the two previous administrations. And then he's completing that. And then the 200-bed Ibom International Hotels. He's even expanded the investment frontier to include a shopping city right in that same Tropicana complex. And then he's taking the investment now to Lagos. To having recovered some of the moribund assets of the state, he's putting an 18-story commercial building as a source of revenue for the state, and the upcoming Ibom hotels that will replace the dilapidated Akwa Ibom old license office in the central area by Ministry of Finance. A new 4-star hotel, so to speak, will come up.
Honorable Commissioner, I hear you, but we've seen governors in this country that performed but never got a second term or never even won their second term because they had offended the political structure in their state. And so if you have a governor who is now perhaps, at crossroads, or, opposite, the person who brought him into office. Governor Udom Emmanuel is also a very strong political force in Akwa Ibom State. I mean, that's almost like, I'm going to use the word fight to the death, for the next election.
Yeah, there's no doubt that His Excellency, the former Governor Udom Emmanuel, brought the current governor on stage to become governor. That's not in question. And the governor has never minced word about the deep respect he has for his predecessor. And I think I would urge people to stay off that because they have their relationship and they're relating very, very well. I don't see any issue there.
Was he one of the people that the governor consulted? Did the governor consult him before making this move?
Very well so.
And what was his response to the move? So. You
mean myself or who?
Governor Udom Emmanuel, what was his response to the move by Governor Eno?
No, I said to you that His Excellency the Governor Moeno consulted all the leaders of Akwa Ibom State that needs to be consulted.
But I asked you if he consulted the former Governor Udom Emmanuel, and you said yes. And I'm asking what was his...
No, I thought you asked if he consulted us.
No. I was asking if he consulted the former governor.
I know that he consulted everyone that deserved consultation, including former governors.
Okay, so I'll take it that he did not, because if he did, you would have been direct with your response to say he did. And you used the word everyone that deserved to be consulted, almost as though you're saying that, look, they had already fallen out.
No, I'm very much aware of that. I know that he consulted everyone that deserved consultation. That I know.
All right, so that statement is quite is weighty. I know that you're a commissioner for information. You understand the statement you made where you say everyone that deserves consultation. And if you are not direct with the fact that former Governor Emmanuel was consulted, it means that he wasn't, and you don't think that he deserved consultation. But I also wanted to ask.
I think these two gentlemen have very good relationships, and they talk to themselves and have a way they work with themselves. So I would urge you to stay off their personal relationship because there's nothing that is disturbing as far as I'm concerned.
There's also a political relationship there beyond the personal one. We're not talking about the personal relationship. We're talking about the political relationship. This is the person who brought him into office.
Yeah, but the governor has always made it very clear that the former Governor Udom Emmanuel is his political father and is a man he respects.
So I also wanted to ask you, because staying on what we're talking about, how calculated this move is. But just before you answer the question, we're supposed to bring in a political analyst, and the former special advisor to former Governor Samuel Otom of Benue State into the conversation. I understand he's now in the conversation, Dave Ogboli. Dave, thank you so much for joining us. We have very little time left. I hope that we can get much from you just before this conversation ends. You've been listening to, in my conversation with the commissioner, I believe. How calculated do you think the move of the governor was to have defected to the APC?
Okay. Can you hear me clearly?
Yes,
on the other side? Hello, how clear is my audio?
Very clear. Dave, go ahead, please.
If you can hear me well.
Yes, go ahead.
Okay. We actually live in very interesting times as far as the political journey of Nigeria is concerned, particularly the journey towards 2027 elections. At a time like this, what we're expecting across the political horizon of Nigeria is a mid-term assessment or interrogation of the current administration of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. But alongside that, we are witnessing, some dramas in the political landscape, which is the dramas of defection from one party to the other, particularly from PDP to APC. And one of the recent one, like you actually pointed out, which is like the arrowhead of this discussion, is the one for Akwa Ibom State, Governor Eno. Actually, 2027 is going to be a very, very interesting one with these waves of defection. And if you notice, this is something that we have predicted before, judging from the crisis within the main opposition party, which is PDP. In the past 1 year, PDP has been going through some rumbles orchestrated by, a lot of the happenings from the weakest camp in PDP, who are from the election have been opposed to the Atiku camp within the PDP. And this has snowballed into the main reason why a lot of people are defecting, especially governors. One reason that a governor needs to be able to defect from a party to another is internal rancor within the political system or the party where he is serving. And the crisis at the national level has provided that excuse for these governors to begin to defect to the main party or the ruling party, which is APC. And if you look at the landscape, you discover that the political cycle that wound up in 2023 brought some first-term governors into power who are looking for a second term at all costs. And that they are doing at the expense of not the feelings of the parties that brought them into power. If you look at the constitutional provisions or precedences, votes are basically for the party, not for the individuals. That's why individual photos or names don't appear in ballot boxes or ballot papers, rather. It is the party. And for a sitting governor to find one flimsy excuse to defect from his party to the ruling party, in my opinion, it amounts to the robbery of the aspirations, the feelings, and the political hopes and decisions of his party, the PDP.
If I may comment, Dave, if I may quickly comment, because you mentioned the crisis at the national level of the PDP, and one of the things we know in this country now is that the judicial system is very much involved in our election. We're in a situation where whoever signs your form could lead to you losing an election because of technicalities. I mean, isn't that enough grounds for the governors to say, well, there are factions now in this party. I don't know who will sign my form, and then, another faction goes to court, and then they say, oh, this is not the one recognized, and then I lose my seat. Is that not enough reason? Is that a flimsy reason?
The judiciary basically has concerned itself with inter-party affairs, not basically intra-party affairs. There's a difference between issues within a party and issues between two political parties. So the judiciary has been very silent on intra-party matters. They are focused more on inter-party matters. And when you talk about the internal rancors, for you to find these evidences, the internal rancors must have to be within your party, and number two, it has to be within your state. In the cases where we have seen defections now, Delta State and Akwa Ibom State, there are no known rancors within the party structures in the state to around these governors defecting into another party. That is the worrisome thing. And if this trend is not checked, we are going to be having a scarcity of credible opposition as far as 2027 and beyond is concerned. Yes, you may say there is a coming together of some political bigwigs to form a coalition. But how much force does the coalition stand against the ruling party or the incumbent party? You look at the South South, for instance, the major arrowheads of the opposition, people like Amechi, are beginning to say that they are hungry. And you require a lot of resources in 2 years or in 1.5 years to muster up enough, support system and structure to contend with an incumbent. What is the hope that the coalition being formed now is going to muster enough strength to contend with the opposition or the ruling party in 2027? When the arrowheads from the South, which is like the oil-rich place that funds political structures and alignments in Nigeria, is saying that they are hungry. So,
Dave, I want to ask you one more question before I bring the commissioner in, which is, you've already started touching on it, the fact that now we're having the South-South become an APC region. Since 1999, Delta State and Akwa Ibom State have been PDP states. And so for a lot of people, it's shocking to see the South-South flip to become an APC region. And then we also now are seeing a situation where the APC has about 24 states compared to other political parties. What is the implication of this? I mean, is 2027 a done deal already?
We still await some surprises to spring forth. The political terrain is still a quicksand. A lot is not fixed or cast in stone yet. A lot is not cast in iron yet. So we still expect a lot of political surprises to spring up, especially for some people who don't want the radar or the laser light of the main party to be focused on them. Right now, they are planning on the ground, so we are still expecting that. But if this trend is not checked, like I said, we're heading straight into a one-party state, and that is dangerous for democracy. If there is no credible opposition to put the ruling party on their toes to fulfill their campaign mandates to the generality of Nigerians, that is the danger that we are going to be facing as far as the coming days are concerned. For Edo was not a defection. It was a political, an election thing. So, but the rest now that are under the vehicle of defection, it becomes a worrisome thing actually for these governors. I don't know how much consultations they had with their people. I don't know how much agreements they had with their people before they moved. But I sense that their propensity, their agitation for a second term is one thing that is making them to want to align with the ruling party so that they can be able to get the backing of the center for them to come up for a second term. That is what I'm sensing as the undertone behind this move. And it's not healthy for Nigeria's democracy at all.
All right, Dr. Dave, let me bring in the commissioner back into the conversation. Honorable Commissioner, I mean, you heard Dr. Dave there. He was talking about how whilst the governors will say this is the reason they are moving, but undertone is really about the second term, getting that ticket and winning that election for second term.
Yeah, thank you very much for coming to me again. Now, I listened to the doctor. I think he was a special advisor to the former governor of Benue State, Otom. I listened to him. Yes, is it within the constitutional right of first-term governors to seek a return term? The answer is yes. So where is the offense? Assuming but not conceding that that is the reason why perhaps you've seen movements. Is it within their rights? Yes. Is it within their rights to move political party or associate or stay in any? Yes, I did say that. I mentioned 4 points earlier on. So it's within their rights. And then, are there issues within the political party and the vehicle that carried them before now? The answer is yes. And then his argument was that there is no crisis within the party in the state. The doctor also knows that there is no party in the state that has any authority or rights over the issue of nomination or elections or major decisions of the party outside of the National Working Committee. And then if you have a National Working Committee that's already in tatters, so what do you do? You continue to remain in that crisis? I needed to answer that. Then I also disagree with him when he says that the movement of the governor of Akwa Ibom and the people of Akwa Ibom state amounts to a robbery of the electorate or the vehicle. That no, there is no such word. And I want to plead with the doctor to withdraw that, because I remember and recall that the Benue state, where he comes from, respectfully started with the PDP all through and continued. And at a point during the administration that he served, that is His Excellency Governor Tom's administration, there were movements that took Governor Tom from one party to the other and back again, and then he was part of it. So there's really nothing new about this. It's about creating that political net that will allow your state to move forward in a manner that will capture the interests of your people in the best way possible. And that is why we have summarized ours, that is an enlightened state interest. And that is the way the governor has taken it, and he's working with the people, he's working with the electorate, he's working with different stakeholders, different groupings. And don't forget, majority of the voters in an election are really not members of political parties. They are holders of voters' card who exercise their civic responsibilities on voting days. So the actual people who vote and elect governors are those who are in the different villages and communities where Governor Eno is impacting to the best of his ability and resources available, changing their stories and changing their lives, and turning the developmental trajectory of the state to a path of true growth and prosperity. And the people are happy for that. If whatever it is, the people of Akwa Ibom today will stand up for Governor Moeno, and they're already standing. That's why you saw what you saw yesterday.
All right, so I have 2 minutes left. I just want Dr. Dave to respond before we wrap up this segment. Dr. Dave, the Honorable Commissioner has asked that you withdraw the statement of a robbery of the votes of the people of Akwa Ibom State. And then I also want to get your final thought. We've seen governors, pay a visit to the president, his Lagos resident. Are we expecting more defection to the APC?
The answer to the last question is yes. If you see the case in Rivers State now, and also Bayelsa, I am afraid for those states, they are standing on a quicksand now, and a defection is possible, especially for the body language of Fubara, the embattled Rivers State governor. That's that. And then coming to the issue of Akwa Ibom State, you see there are 3 major interests that work in a political environment that the gentleman commissioner must understand. Number 1, the political umpires. Number 2, the office of the citizen. You see, the political umpire talks about the party structure, but the party structure within the state, his appointees, his party structure within the state, they are not enough to give him the vote to become the governor. It is the office of the citizen, the citizenry of Akwa Ibom State that voted him overwhelmingly, that made him governor. His decision, is it in tandem with the decision or the aspiration of the generality of Akwa Ibomites? That is where I say it is a robbery of their collective interest. If you take a decision that favors yourself as a governor, that is likely to give you a second term, that is a selfish decision. And that is something that you cannot impose upon the generality of Akwa Ibomites. Have you taken a statistics or an opinion poll within the rank and files of Akwa Ibomites? Those who are not within party structures of APC and PDP but are voters, they are actually the strongest factors to consider. Have you felt their pulse before you are defecting? If you have not felt their pulse, and it is your interest to get the second term that you are defecting and taking all of their votes and their political decisions to another party. That is what I say is robbery, and I stand on that word. It is not something to withdraw, because it is actually the truth. When you talk about Samuel Otom defecting, in his previous administration, number one, he was in APC at the state, and then there was APC at the center that was silent to a major social issues, which is killings. This herdsman crisis in Benue State. And the President Buhari then was silent and paying, lip services and treating the matter with kid gloves. So it was his own people that told him, we are not safe in this party move. That's number one. And number two, he waited till just a few months to the general election before he moved. This is just mid-term in their first term, and they are defecting now, with a lot of time between now and the next election. So you see the differences between the issue of Akwa and Benue State.
I have to wind the conversation down, but I know that just 30 seconds for the Honorable Commissioner will have the last word, and that's just 30 seconds, because he needs to respond as to whether he has answered that question before, but I want him to just again respond to whether the people who are not party supporters were consulted.
Yes, thank you very much. I did say to you that His Excellency Governor Omano took time to consult the people of Akwa Ibom State across strata, from socio-cultural, socio-political groups, the traditional institution, women, youths, different groupings across board. He took his time and personally spoke to the people and got their consent.
All right.
Before he made this announcement. The announcement, what came up yesterday was the finality of a process that went through the totality of the state over a period until he now got to the final decision. Right. So the people of Akwa Ibom State are part of this decision, and they love this decision, and they support this decision, and will stand by this decision.
We have another conversation as well coming up. Thank you so much, gentlemen. Commissioner for Information in Akwa Ibom State, Anyeka Umana, and political analyst and former special advisor to former Governor Tom of Benue State, Dr. David Bule. Thank you for your time as well.